Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Ant the Dude, here to provide you some commentary on a game I found on itch.io called Paralleli. Game's really unique because you have to basically keep an eye on two different levels at the same time, so it's pretty unique, and I wanted to provide you some commentary for this game. If you don't like commentary, I have another video posted up that's just me playing the game. So, as the game starts here, there's a pretty simple plot, which kind of leaves it up to the player's imagination to figure out what's going on. But there's basically two temples here and two players, so you already get the feeling of having two different players and two different settings to look at as you're playing the game. So the dev did a cool job here setting that up right at the beginning. So right at the beginning here, it's pretty obvious that there's two different worlds to keep an eye on here. So what I like about the game is as you start off, you can easily tell that you have to take into account both sides. So the developer did a nice job because the levels pretty much teach the player what has to happen. So they started off with some easy levels, even though I had trouble with this one right here. This is a little bit of a curveball right at the beginning, but Dev did a great job with the initial levels, pretty much teaching the player about how the game works without saying anything through text, which I thought was cool. But the levels definitely get progressively harder as you go, as you would expect. So the next few levels here are fairly basic, but you can really look at one side of the screen and maneuver yourself on the other. So they're not easy, but they're a little bit more of an ease into the whole premise of the game, where you can really look at one side and maneuver on the other side. So this is a good lead into the next couple levels. Even though I just said it was pretty simple on this one, I had some trouble. It's been a minute since I played the game, so it took me a while to get back acclimated. But the next few levels here are really a good test for the new player on this game. So this level is really the first one that has hazards really on both sides. So it gets a little bit more complicated, but not as hard because at least the hazards on the left are stationary. The spikes are easy to keep track of, while the moving guys on the other side will get to you. So just when you thought you had the hang of things, creator here has you going up one side and going down the other to pass the level. So now we are crossing over between the two sides, which is a new game mechanic, of course, but something really interesting that gives a nice feel of progression as you go through. And once again, now you have to look at both sides for hazards, but even as you progress, you have to look at two different types of hazards, right? So as you go up to the left side, you're looking at the moving hazards from the other side, and then the premise pretty much switches as you go onto the right side here. So pretty cool switch up in mechanics. It's what I like about the game. It's really short, but the levels keep it fresh, and the kind of like the overarching goals keep it fresh. So it's something I like about the game. As I said, we really don't have a story here, but it's another good benefit to the player that you can kind of make up your own story. So I kind of like that aspect as well, where you're probably developing a story in your head of why this guy needs to get through these worlds and defeat the other temple. So those are some things I like about the game, and that are kind of showcased as the levels progress. On this level here, as you can see, it looks pretty simple, but it gets confusing as you're trying to keep track of multiple hazards at once. So this level may be the only level that I passed all in one go. Looks kind of busy, but it was pretty easy for me to hop through this one. The next couple levels, I'm pretty sure I just lost my marbles and I had to do it multiple times. But this one looks like the only one I was able to really do since the beginning that I was able to pass on one try. All right, this level, once again, once you think you know what's going on, this level switches it up. So it's a little bit hard to see, but on the left side there's a door, and it has a little square keyhole type thing, giving the indication that you need to collect up some kind of square thing to get out. So in this case, you have to go up the left side, down the right side, collect the little square thing that's in the bottom right-hand corner, and actually bring it back. You have to actually go back to the door, basically, to get out of this level. So once again, a nice progression from the game dev here that I really enjoyed. Once again, the game has really not told you anything verbally or in text, but you can use the visual clues to figure out what you need to do. So I really like that element of this game. One thing I just wanted to point out is, once again, the game dev did a really good job of planning out this really small area, so you just see the singular spike there, and that just adds a whole nother action for the player to do, that they could get hit by the moving target on the left. So you just see this attention to detail, which is really cool in this small space, that kind of drives the player's decisions. You saw me pause on the last level and kind of figure out what I was going to do, so it's really, really good detail in this game as well. This is where the game got a little goofy for me, goofy in a good way, I guess, with two moving targets on either side, and this is where you start having to traverse up and down the different sides. So, as I was saying, goofy, what I meant by goofy was, gets a lot more challenging, but I think it's the right level of challenging for the player. As you go through each level, maybe one or two or three or more times, you learn a lot about the levels and how you need to maneuver. So this is where it starts getting a little challenging. Like I said, another level here with a couple moving targets. This one kind of has some tight quarters to it as well. But the player will be able to progress through the game, or the levels, I should say, with some challenge. So it's a good level of challenge on each portion of the game, which gives a nice sense of accomplishment as well as the player's going through. So, as I was speaking about it, the challenging levels, this is where I'm going to start having to redo multiple levels. So feel free to fast forward, or you can just watch and see how I was thinking through it. Maybe how I was trying to problem solve each one, but this is where it starts getting to multiple iterations for me. So as I was saying, you can feel the sense of accomplishment as you go. So I remember on my first playthrough of this, you could tell this was going to be one of the last levels, if not the last level, just with the level of precision that the dev kind of programmed in. You can see that it's a little bit hard to see, but there's a couple ledges there that are really like one space wide, if you will, so they just barely fit the player, but you can see that the moving guy on the left comes very close to that platform. So the game design or the level design is really cool in that way, is you can almost tell where you're at, or at least I could as you were playing here. You knew this level was kind of near the end, or maybe the last level as you were playing. So I just wanted to make note of that. I believe this is the last level. So now I know what you're all thinking. What is this level? Now what? But once again, the dev knows what you're thinking. So try to jump off or whatever, and you end up here at the end. Same scene as the beginning. And it's pretty obvious right away that you've kind of beat the game. So although it was short, I thought it was really challenging and fun. As you can see, the temple, I guess the bad temple here, is defeated as the player has made it through all the levels. So just want to do a quick playthrough of this game and give some commentary. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.